this video, I'll show you this blend mount that I actually modified to get to fit a little nicer in the Raptor. And then we're gonna get rid of this cord and we're gonna wire in the hardwire cord. Don't know exactly where we're gonna tap in yet, but it's pretty straightforward. You just run it up around the headliner, down the pillar, and into the fuse box over there. Let me give you a close-up of this. This is the 360 cam, I think, from Escort. I think that's what it's called, 360 cam. It is freaking huge. I will do a close-up of this, and I'll link the video once I do it. But I'd say the only thing you could really put this in is in a truck. It's just so big. But it does combine dash cam and a radar detector, and I'm really loyal to Escort. I just like their products. They've never let me down, and I didn't want to do the add-on camera with my old radar detector, which isn't really actually old, so I figured I'd just bite the bullet and buy this. But the blend mount requires this additional piece right there. So if you order this from BlendMount, they'll tell you that all you need is this one and this one, but if you really want to tuck it up underneath, you need to buy that extra extension. It's not that expensive, it's only about $20 more, and then you can really sneak it up in there. Now, it is a pain to get off. If you want to take it down, you've got to move the mirror up, but at least it's way up in there and out of the way. So let's find the fuse box and figure out where we're going to run this wire. First thing, just grab this, get your fingers underneath it and pop it. And it'll sound like this when it pops. And there we go. There we go, right out. This is connected somehow. There we go. Got to get this piece out in order to access this piece, I think. Yeah. There's a clip right there. Clip right there, and probably that's it. And a clip up top. It is nice to know how to get that off, but there's no fuse panel over there. Fuse panel's over here, and you don't actually have to remove this either. So there's this door right here. Maybe this is in the instructions, but you know the program. And right around here in the passenger footwell is your fuse panel. So we're gonna run this wire across here and down, do a little exploring in here, figure out what comes out so that I can tuck this wire. And once I figure it out, I'll show you how to do it. If you get your fingers right up under here, I do have some panel tools, but so far fingers are working, and just pop this out. That is going to come out in one piece, and that gives really good access to run the wire right through here, right through there, down into where the fuse panel is. So all you have to do is run it right up through here, across, and up and over. So next up, I ran the wire around the wire for the rearview mirror, and then this, you just tuck your fingers up under there again and pop, and that will come right off, which provides really great access to get this wire right against the wire for the mirror. So we're gonna get a couple little zip ties, and then I'll be able to tuck that wire right up in here. That'll work out perfectly. Let me go get some zip ties. So I left a little bit of slack and zip tied it right to that wire. And then I ran it up under this harness, and I'm gonna tuck it in here, and I'm probably gonna put another zip tie in there so I don't get any rattles. And then you just push it up under the headliner all the way across to here. And when we get to here, I'll show you. I don't know yet if I can push it down in here. I'm sure that I can, so we'll see how that works. As suspected, you can just pull that little plastic corner down just slightly and tuck the wire right under here. I left myself some slack that I'll roll up and zip tie. If anything, I've learned you don't want anything to be super tight. And when you pull on this, you can pull on it And because this dips down, it'll pull the wire back into the headliner even further. So far, no tools and only some minor dismantling and some unnecessary dismantling. If you dig your fingers down under here, you will get to the end of the headliner. It's about here. And you can tuck that wire up under the end of the headliner. That way it won't fall out over time. And also, this is very simple. You just peel back this rubber molding, and right there you can see the edge of the plastic. So you're going to want to just run it right down on the inside of this plastic. This is what this looks like right there. You get it all the way in behind the plastic. It's definitely not going to fall out, and it's not going to affect this rubber. Made it all the way down, and here's the wire right here behind the plastic. We're going to fish it right down through there, make sure it's not going to chafe on anything, and then we'll end up under here at the fuse box. That worked out nicely. I just dropped it right down there, and it's just going to hang here. What'll happen is, when I put this panel back in, it'll press against the wire right here, which will keep it from rattling. And then there's nothing to chafe on or rattle against as it hangs there. There's really nothing to zip tie it to, but there's really no need to. It's not going to make any noise in there. And then you got to figure out where you're going to ground it. There is a ground right here it is meant as a ground. So I'm going to take this nut off, and I'll be able to tap in there. I won't have to go under the carpet at all. Also, I'll be able to route the wire behind the fuse box and up and over, so everything will be nice and neat back there. So now we know where we're going to ground. We need to figure out what is energized when the truck is running. So that's next. One of these is incredibly handy to figure this out. You just ground one end of it. The other end has a point and there's a light in it, and then you just start touching fuses. And you'll see that some of them, so this key's not on, just the door is open. You just touch them. And so that one is got power with no ignition. That one does not have power. That one does not have power. That's a big one. This is a little one, little bit of power. This one does not have power. So this one, I think that says, what does that say on there? I can't read it. 15. So I'm going to see if this 15 comes on when we turn the truck on. That 15, truck's running, and that 15 is on. So we're going to tap into that. Nowhere in the manual could I find what these are, and it doesn't list it on the back of the door. I could Google it, but I don't really care. I'm going to go with the 15 over the 5 because it's a higher amperage circuit, and it's less likely to even notice that the radar detector is pulling power. That's really why I would go with the 15 over the 5. So I'm going to wire this up, and I'll show you in a minute what it looks like. All right, this is not big enough to fit on that ground right there. It's blurry, sorry. But it does fit back there where I was originally going to put it. So I'm just going to pull the carpet back a little bit right here, like this, and run it right up to that one right there, that bolt right there. I'll show you this before I put the nut back on. You can see right in there is the right here. I've lifted this off, put the thing on there. I'm going to put the nut back, and I'm going to push the wire right up underneath whatever this thing is, back in there, and that way the carpet will completely cover it. Won't snag on anybody's feet. It'll never be a problem. All right, now that the ground is done, wires run. This is super ghetto, let me tell you what. But I don't have a tap that would fit this size fuse. I'm going to order one from Amazon. I'll put the link down below, but the only taps I have are much larger. So I stripped the wire back, cut that little thing off, and I'm going to, I just wrapped it. I'm going to shove it right back in there, and that'll be good, temporary, but as soon as the right one comes from Amazon, and it's basically just this little addition clip that goes on one of these prongs and sticks out far enough that you can attach a wire to it. But this will work in the meantime. So we're just going to plug this right back in there like that with the wire on it. Wire's good and tight, and we'll just run this wire right down under here, and I'm going to make sure that I zip tie this somewhere so that it doesn't rattle. So I zip tied this right here, and I zip tied the wire right there. It runs right up into the A-pillar. I got the lead coming out the fuse box, the ground over there, the carpet's back. Let's test it. Ooh. And radio detector's off. And radio detector comes on. Perfect. That flashing's just the frames in the camera, but it works. Let's go ahead and shut it off.
Powering down.
Powering down. There's no delay or anything. Excellent. Works. So next we're going to zip tie this up nice and neatly in there and put all the panels back. I'll just show you this real quick before I wrap it up. All I did was zip tie the cord to this wrap right here and then bring it around whatever this thing is. I brought it around where the other wires are and then loosely zip tied it to this harness and stuffed the excess right up under the headliner. Nice and neat, ready to snap this panel back on. And that's all there is to it. Lays really nicely. There's actually a hole cut out for this that the radar detector cord fits in just nicely, and looks really good. I think I'm going to change the way that this is. I'm going to work on that real quick here. I think what I'll do is instead of this going up towards the glass, I think I'll bring it down here. Keeping this in the same place, I'll just reconfigure that so that when you're cleaning the glass, you can't get behind there with a towel. All right, we've got a little wind noise probably from the AC, but that is the finished installation right there. Nicely tucked in. So this is eye level. This is basically what I see. I can easily reach the mute button if I need to, and easily control the volume. And it's tucked in there. It's perfectly level, as you can see. And it's far enough away from the glass where you could get a rag in there to clean it. No wires. All the panels are put back together. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. See you next time.